Excellent. Thank you. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank everyone for coming tonight to join us for the Emergency Response Community Meeting regarding the Calabash River Bridge replacement, specifically how we're going to respond to emergencies. As you can see, we've got a lot of agencies involved tonight, so I want to start by introducing everyone that's up here. Myself, I'm Chief Richard Childers. I'm the Fire Chief in Sunset Beach. To my right, Chief Keith McGee from Calabash Fire. To his right, Chief Kenneth Claymore from Sunset Beach PD. Town Administrator Lisa Anglin, Town of Sunset Beach. We've got Deputy Chief Joseph Adams, Sunset Beach Fire. Captain Stan Gerganis, Sunset Beach PD. We've got Mr. McIntyre. He is the Director of Emergency Management for Brunswick County. Mr. Todd, he's also with Brunswick County EMS. We've got Captain Seiler from Brunswick County Sheriff. Malcolm Smith, Fire Administrator, Brunswick County. We've got Lieutenant Beck from Brunswick County Sheriff. Lyle Johnson he's the Deputy Director from Brunswick County EMS. And to his left, we have Brian Ross, Deputy Director of Brunswick County EMS. So solid crew coming out to support tonight. Thanks everyone for coming up and being a part of this. I'd like to start some project dates. So project was awarded on May 24th, 2023. The contractor can start work on June 26th, 2023. The earliest date that we will see a bridge closure is September 6th of 2023. So that's the earliest date we can expect that. Some of the things that happening very soon or before project, we hope before the project, DOT is working on a turn lane at the 179-904. It's expected to be operational by June 30th, so just a little bit prior to the closure, and as well as a signal at the intersection of Old Georgetown and Clubhouse. So probably heard talk about that coming down the pipe. DOT is working diligently to get that project completed by 9/6. So we're hoping that gets handled by then. So I'd like to read a response. This was put together by Council of Sunset Beach. This is going to be a joint letter that we've created about emergency response. So I'll start by reading that. A major question that has been asked in regards to the construction of the new Calabash Bridge has been the response time for fire and ambulance for the citizens of Sunset Beach and Calabash living on the Sunset Beach side of the bridge. Recently, a meeting was held, including the Calabash Fire Department, the Sunset Beach Fire Department, and Brunswick County EMS Service. It was agreed that the Sunset Beach Fire Department would expand their jurisdiction during the bridge construction to encompass the area on the Sunset Beach side of the new bridge, as opposed to Calabash Fire Department responding by taking the currently recommended detour around the bridge construction. Response time from the Sunset Beach Fire Department Station 1 would be much faster than relying on the Calabash Fire Department needing to travel the detour. If there is a need for ambulance service in the area of Sunset Beach and Calabash on the Sunset Beach side of the bridge, the response ambulance would come from the County EMS ambulance service located along Old Georgetown Road, which is near Fire Station 2. From past experience, the response time from this EMS station, if an ambulance is available, is approximately 6 minutes. This time falls well within an acceptable response time for health emergencies. An additional concern raised is the time it may take an ambulance to get to a hospital by using the detour that adds an additional 8.4 miles to the journey. It was agreed at this meeting that, number one, the ambulance driver may, depending on the severity of the situation, choose to travel the 8.4 mile detour as established by NCDOT, or may go through C-Trail, which would save time when necessary. Number two, ambulance personnel in Brunswick County receive more in-depth training as per county regulations than many other counties in our state. Thus, for normal ambulance response time, triage and treatment may take place during the drive to the hospital. It was agreed that the longer trip to the hospital would not compromise care during bridge construction. Number three, for life and death situations in the area under question, the county has agreed that the responding fire department and or ambulance personnel would have the right to call in the medical helicopter stationed at Novant Hospital to airlift the victim to an area hospital. With these agreements in place and with the past history of ambulance response time, representatives from Brunswick County EMS, Calabash Fire Department, and Sunset Beach Fire Department strongly agree that ambulance response standards should be consistent with past performance before the bridge construction. If any questions arise that challenge these conclusions, the parties will convene again to address the issues and make changes if necessary to this plan. So that covers a lot of fire EMS things. I'd like to start by reaching out to the others involved. Chief McGee, would you like to add anything to that?
I don't really think I have a lot to add except for we started working on this back all the way in late 2022. We had our original meeting on November 9th where we started discussing this to get it set up in the communication center to ensure that dispatch is not delayed, that it automatically, everything creates automatically. The plan was put in place on December 14th, and now they're just ready to actually activate it. It's sitting there ready to work. So I feel, quite comfortable that we have a great relationship, the two fire departments, and so we train together, we work together, and so I'm really confident that Sunset Beach, the level of service that they're going to provide during this time period is going to be excellent, and so I don't think that there will be any kind of a drop in service from a first in, especially EMS, that type thing, a medical call.
Excellent. Thank you, Chief. Mr. Johnson, would you like to go?
I kind of echo what Chief McGee said. EMS is a little different from the fire service, where the fire service is dedicated to an area. We're dedicated to the entire county, and at 4 o'clock in the morning there may be an ambulance at every station we have assigned in the county, but by 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning there's no telling where those ambulances are based on call volume. For an example, I know we had a call down in the Sunset Beach area the other night that we got a thank you letter from the citizen later for the care that was provided, and it was noted that that ambulance was actually the ambulance that originally that night started as the ambulance at Oak Island. So that, they ended up down here. So we're continuously moving ambulances all throughout the day based on call volume and trying to spread out where we can get the quickest response based on the number of units we have available at the time. So, and we're closest unit dispatched through the 911 center. So we're going to make sure that the closest unit, and with the 911 center, and Brian will talk more about it, they'll have in there where those roadblocks occur to make sure that the closest unit is the one dispatched.
Excellent. Lieutenant Beck?
Yes, so with the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office, we've been working hand in hand at the Sheriff's Office with the Sunset Beach Police Department with Chief Claymore. As would occur now, as to if it would occur then, any type of emergency response is going to be monitored by our 911 center, and they are going to be dispatching the closest car available. If it is in county jurisdiction, we do request Sunset Beach to assist us with any type of extreme emergency of traffic. They would be dispatched to come, help secure the scene, help with the situation at hand until a county car could get there and to take over the situation. Chief?
We spoke at length, and I also spoke with Sheriff Chisholm prior to this meeting about the response when the closure happens. And it's very similar to what we do now, is just making sure that the closest available units, similar to what EMS just said, that they're dispatched. Now, of course, if it's I guess a call that's not that urgent, somebody wants to report a stolen cell phone, that's not something that requires an emergent response. So that may take a little bit longer for the unit to get there. However, if it's a call that requires an immediate response, the dispatch center is going to do their best to get the closest unit there. One of the things I do want to address is Clubhouse Road. There is unfortunately nothing we can do to stop people from using Clubhouse Road as a shortcut. If they choose not to take the DOT suggested detour. However, I promise, I assure you, we are going to pay a lot of attention to Clubhouse Road. If there's any Sea Trail residents here with us tonight or listening, we're going to pay close attention to Clubhouse, even as far as asking our partner agencies when they're available to spend some time there as well and try to slow people down and make sure that that's a safe thoroughfare for people to use.
Excellent. Thank you, Chief. 911 communications?
Yeah, in terms of 911, technically, you've heard them say us a lot. We are ready to go. We met early and often on this one, and I have no concerns. And I'm normally the guy that has any concerns. Bridge closures and road closures happen frequently for us. We have them countywide. This is one of the ones that required some unique planning with the fire department side, and they did that early, and we were in place for it. So we're good to go. In terms of law enforcement, the continued cooperation between the sheriff's office and the local police departments streamlines it in any case. Even if a deputy's out of place, the police department's going to get there fast. Our people are used to dealing with it countywide, so we are ready.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. Anyone else like to add anything to that? And I apologize to everyone. Mr. Nance, town administrator from Calabash, is here tonight. I'm so sorry. So sorry I left you out. Would either of you like to add anything to that? Excellent. Well, that's what we have. We would like to open it up for a Q&A session. If you would, we'll call on you, and I'll call on you to step up. Please state your name and your address, similar to how Town of Sunset Beach runs their meeting. We'll do that. Let Alan get the mic ready.
I'll just get it framed.
All right, open it up for any question. We've got the back room. Oh, come on up, sir. Got the back room open as well. We'll check with those.
I've got a question. I've had the privilege of living here since owning property since '74, and we can all remember the Sunset Bridge and the 45 to an hour long trying to get off of it, traffic jams. I know that we're growing and growing quicker than any county in North Carolina. My big concern is that I just read in the Brunswick Beacon that the police will be taking over the beach patrols. And you're concerned about that somebody calls off, the beach patrols won't be taken care of adequately, and things of that nature, which leads me to believe that we're running thin on, at this time of the year, and with the additional traffic that we have. I go and live in Ocean Harbor Estates, and trying to turning into Calabash, sometimes you're 20 minutes making that left-hand turn. And I'm afraid with all the traffic coming down this way, will the police have police directing? Because we can be caught at that light or at that light for 20, 30 minutes. I'm sure because of the old times. I've seen it, and I've seen it recently, and I see it all the time at Calabash. So how will the police at Sunset or the county adapt to the traffic patterns in making sure that these long waits are not at these traffic lights, and that the turn lanes on this light and that light are adjusted time-wise to make sure that we can make that? Because the more that we get congested here, the more that we're going to use sea trails, and I'm sure the people sea trails would not want that. So if I just wanted to ask how you're going to address all this. Will you change the timelines or timing of the turn lights, everything else like that? Okay.
Thank you. Chief Claymore, do you like that?
The traffic signals that he's referring to are all on Georgetown, which is a county highway. So I'm going to defer to Lieutenant Beck. As far as the timing, though, I know Sunset Beach does not have the ability to change any of the programming. I'm not sure if the county does. That's probably it's DOT's equipment. That would be on them.
100%. The timing of the stoplights is 100% a DOT operation. I can assure you through the county, though, that we will be monitoring the traffic flow going to those lights with the different times of year, because as everyone in this room knows, when summertime hits, springtime, fall, our population increases, our tourism increases, and we always step up our efforts to make sure that at our heavily congested areas that we are doing traffic control. We will monitor it. Advice would be is to monitor it, call into the sheriff's office, let us know if it is, an increasing hazard, and we'll make the appropriate corrections that we need to.
But it's not especially a hazard. It's just a total inconvenience of waiting a long time. And how long if we report that? And
Sir, do you want to come back to the microphone? Because people that they're streaming can't hear you. Thank you.
it's not a matter of inconvenience. It's timing. And also, how long would the county or the state take to adjust the timing of the lights?
That would be a question solely for the Department of Transportation.
Well, who here can ask that and find out?
I can address the Department of Transportation and ask them
Okay, great.
what that would be, but I would, speculate it would be some type of traffic survey done for that. I can find out at the end of this meeting. I'll get with you personally, give you my
Thank you.
card, my
Thank you
contact
very much.
information,
Okay.
and I'll try to get you every answer that I can.
Okay. I just hope that we all watch that, because it's going to be a problem. And
Yeah, because the thing we're going to be monitoring is, I totally understand the inconvenience. I totally get it, but our job is going to be for the safety, the flowing traffic patterns, to keep that intersection safe and to keep it clear.
Yeah, because your traffic coming this way, traffic coming this way, ambulance is trying to get there. It's going to be summer.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Okay.
I'm Candace Sieben. I'm in Sunset Beach. I live on Lakeshore Drive, and I'm wondering what the plans are in hurricane season, because I think those of us that live at that end, we're losing one of our paths out of the city if there's a bad storm. How will you get vehicles in there or get help to us if we need it?
Excellent question. Excellent. I'm glad you brought that up. The hurricane season. So one of the key things with this bridge closure, as she said, we're going to lose an exit to town. So one of the things we're going to work on for the town of Sunset Beach is getting the if it comes to evacuation, we want to get that notice out as early as humanly possible. So that's some of the things. And during, as we know, hurricane season is starting, but we want to get the evacuation notice out quickly as we ever have. So that's going to be at one of our top priority during hurricane season, getting that notice out so we can start the evacuation process early.
My name is Roger Cross, live in Devon Park. I don't know if anybody here can answer this question or not, but what's the possibility of dropping the speed limit on this road to 35 from the bridge to the bridge, so that those of us who have street legal golf carts could use it to go to the beach?
I'll direct that to Chief Claymore there as well.
That would be a town council decision to lower the speed limit, and I don't know that that's been discussed.
So recommend reach out to the town of Sunset Beach Council via email.
We have a council meeting this Monday at 7 p.m.
Excellent.
Public comments at the very end would be the time that you would address a general question such as that.
Anyone else? Please, sir.
Yeah, I'm Brian Pearl, I live in Sea Trail. And you gave a lot of dates at the beginning here, and they kind of escaped me.
Okay.
When is the earliest that they will probably have the bridge so we will not be able to cross it?
So the earliest date of bridge closure is on 9/6.
9/6, okay.
9/6.
Is there something you mentioned in June?
So June, the contractor can start working on June 26th. So throughout until 9/6, they're going to go ahead and start the project. I've been notified at some points it could go down to one lane, a little bit of traffic delays, but they're going to start working. But the bridge will not be closed down until at the earliest 9/6.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So, thank you.
They did put out the official notice today through the DOT website, and if you watch the TIMS, once there's a project established, they'll tell you when they're going to start doing work.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Come on up, sir.
I'm Roy Cundiff. I live on Kings Trail in Sunset, Sea Trail. I have something interesting here. Recently, in the last few days, I had a reason to call EMS. Okay. When they came out and looked me over and said, "We think maybe you need to go to the ER." I said, "Okay." They said, "We'll be taking you down to McLeod." And I says, "No, all my records are at Novad." And they said, "I'm sorry, we can't take you to Novad." I said, "I don't understand that. I've got a lot of records there." So the young fellow who was the driver went out of my door, went out and came back in a few minutes. He called and said, on top of that, there is no one at Novad that can handle GI or cardio right now. They're all off duty. You've got to go to McLeod. Now, that may have nothing to do with anything we're talking about here, but I think it'd be something. I don't know whether I know that I believe it's McLeod has the Epic communication system, and I guess Novet has the My Chart. However that's done, I don't know. But I'm not even sure if those systems are talking to each other. Thought I'd just pass that on to you for information. I was handled very well, but it happens to be this way instead of this way. That's all I can say to it.
And I can address that a little bit for you, sir. There is instance where the hospital doesn't have certain specialties that they can treat, and that was probably what that situation was there.
Well, this young man said they haven't taken anyone with cardio or GI for a good period of time now. So now this is a young fellow on an EMS truck.
Yeah, GI for sure is a struggle at times. Cardiac, it depends on the severity of the situation.
Well, he said none.
Yeah.
That's all I can tell you, sir.
Okay.
Because I have to say, I was not in bad shape.
Right.
By the way, I got up, walked out, got on the gurney and rode with him.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Duke. I live over there in Calabash Acres. I was just wondering, I come from Raleigh area, and sometimes we have a lot of people that make shortcuts through different areas, speeding along 50, 60 mile an hour in, a residential area. What they did up there was they put in these plastic or rubber rather, speed bumps. I'm just wondering if maybe to alleviate the traffic going through Sea Trail, maybe you all could use those instead of traffic light. Traffic light would just back everybody up.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, I live in Ocean Harbor Estates, and one of the things we've talked about is the possibility of getting defibrillators located in these communities so that we can do local response in the event of a heart problem and CPR training. If the county would consider something like that, we would certainly be willing to participate.
Excellent. From the EMS standpoint on that, if the community would like to do CPR training, you can contact our office and speak with Rich Burns, who is our training officer, and he can set up community CPR training. As far as AEDs or defibrillators like that, I don't have access, or the county doesn't have access to place those in the community. They are on the fire trucks that will be first responding down there in case they're ahead of the ambulance. But we're more than happy, not just for this situation, but for any community that wants CPR training, to set up community CPR training.
If the neighborhood's got their own defibrillators, would you do the training?
We could assist with the training in that, yes, sir.
Thank you.
Excellent. Fire department as well. We have many HOAs, POAs that in their clubhouse they've purchased or beginning purchasing defibrillators, and then they give us a call. Sometimes we do annual training. Last week we did Sea Trail. We do Sea Trail multiple times a year. Same as Sandpiper Bay just installed one in their clubhouse, and we're super excited about that. We do the classes as well. EMS comes out and helps. So shoot me an email, give me a call. We'll get CPR priority set up for your community. Not even related to this. We recommend that. Yes, sir.
I'm Jack Lambert. I live in Orient, looking for Long Island, Oyster Bay. And thanks for coming. This is quite a show. It really is. All you go up dinner and everything else. But that's number one. Number two has to do with that defibrillator thing. Can that be publicized where those are? You know, 'cause we know where they are at Sea Trail, but I don't know if there's one at Oyster Bay or if there's one at Devon. If the Devon has is there any way that you all can find where they are and just put out an email that might let us know?
The thing about it is most similar to Sea Trail. It's inside their clubhouse. Sandpiper, same way. Everything's inside, so
it's locked.
It's locked up specifically for the events and things like that. So
okay.
So I don't know if they would want us to publish that or what, but I'll definitely look into that and kind of see if see how many we have in the community, because we have more than we know of. I'm sure.
My last question is the $64,000 question. Is there any way that this bridge project can be speeded up? That's the one thing everybody asks about. It seems to be taking a long time for a local small bridge.
It's tough. The good news is, so I've heard at the council meeting they spoke about the extra monies that the contractor is awarded if they complete prior to the date. And I think that's the most significant thing. If the company gets done a little early, they get a little more money in their pocket. So I would say that they're going to do all they can to get that extra.
That's a
money.
great
So
suggestion,
that's
and
a
it
good
works.
thing. And it works. And as they said in the meeting, it works. So,
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Susan Bridges. I live on Coach Trail, and it's NC Trail. Like Chief Claymore mentioned, I'm concerned about the traffic on Clubhouse Drive. You can imagine how important it is for me to get to Mahjong on time. So I'm wondering, that is a town road, I believe, is it not? So
Yes.
I think the traffic on there is going to be mostly local because, I mean, very local, Sunset Beach, mostly because a lot of people are afraid to come into Sea Trail. They can't ever get out. So I'm not all that concerned. But the trucks from all that construction, the trucks are the things that worry me. I wonder if we could impose a temporary weight limit or something like that on the road to keep the truck and construction traffic down.
That's a good recommendation. We've talked about just kind of spitballed some ideas with through traffic, the weight limit. Sunset Beach doesn't have any way to weigh a truck. I don't know if the county has scales. State Highway Patrol would be the closest entity that would have it. I know our officers aren't trained to recognize the signs of what an overweight truck might even look like. So we'd have to rely pretty heavily on the Highway Patrol. And this time of year, as I'm sure you understand, the Highway Patrol probably has their hands pretty full with Highway 17. But a great suggestion. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm aware of what that's going to do to traffic. And since I'm aware, all of our people are going to be aware, and you will see an increased presence.
Just one more piece of advice to that. If you do see vehicles that you think may be overweight, maybe overloaded, anything of that, North Carolina State Highway Patrol has a special unit that deals just with commercial motor vehicles. We are in what's considered Troop B of the state of North Carolina, and their home office is in Fayetteville, North Carolina. But the only reason why I tell you that is if you need to make a complaint, if you're recognizing these vehicles to the State Highway Patrol, the best way is through the internet, through their Department of Public Safety website. go to your local troop. You'll see our county highlighted. You can't miss it. I believe it's in yellow, actually, because I utilize it myself. There's actually 2 telephone numbers and an email address, and you can forward that information to them, and they can take that specialized group to come down here and to watch, look, and observe that area if you need to.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I suffer from this disease called CRN, and the pharmaceutical companies haven't done anything about it. It's called can't remember nothing. You probably already said this. What is the completion date estimated for the bridge? Is it February?
The estimated date of reopening is May 1st of 2025.
Not until May 1st. Okay, 2025. Okay. I had another question. I can't remember what it was. Told you have that disease. Is there going to be a traffic light at the north entrance and Old Georgetown Road for Sea Trail?
Yes.
And when is that estimated? I think you did say that.
So they're going to they're doing everything they can to have it operational by 9/6. So the date of the closure. That's their goal, to have it completed by then.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm from Devon Park in Calabash, and I'd like to thank you all for coming together and put the time and energy into this that you have. It's a lot of people to make this all work, and we do appreciate it, even though it doesn't sound like it some moments. But I was wondering, have you thought about staging down at the end, like Devon Park, Ocean Harbor, down something down there, to have your EMS and your first responders police down in that area instead of just first do or who's ever closest to do that? And the other thing, when we heard the groans of 25, now we're talking about 2 hurricane seasons that we're going to be without that emergency route. Have we thought about having another way put in, even if it's for those emergency situations, that we can get across, instead of having, we're going to be directed right back down into the intercoastal waterway to try to get out? Thank you.
As far as staging anything down at the end of the road, like I mentioned earlier, the problem with that is when we put a unit up in service, it becomes closest dispatch. So in that situation, if they're down on that road, if that truck on Georgetown Road is out and a call comes out on the island, that's the truck that's going to the island. Or if that truck and the Calabash truck are out and the next closest truck is in Charlotte, they're probably going to make that detour around to go to something in Calabash. So our supervisors and the 911 center monitor continuously as we start running calls about where there's holes at, where there's openings at, and we try to move our trucks to get in the area. And unfortunately, we just can't dedicate an ambulance to a specific area without the risk of it having to move somewhere else. And we're going to monitor this real close, and hopefully during this time frame, as long as it's going to be, we've gotten approval already to add additional personnel to our service and add additional trucks. And one of those trucks will come south once we're able to get it on the road, and hopefully that will take place during this time also.
And I'll speak on the law enforcement side, with it being county jurisdiction. Through my time here, and I'm sure the captain can probably speak with this as well, when we go into hurricane season, and unfortunately when we have a hurricane that affects the south end of Brunswick County, I can tell you that the Calabash River Bridge is one of the first ones to become submerged, where we can't utilize it to access that part of, Calabash and Brunswick County. So we've been coming around to get it. The last storm we had, last season, we had to get in there. Basically, I was the first one in there, just happenstance. I shut that bridge down myself because we couldn't safely pass it. And, we were staging folks in there, and we're drawing our assets to us. We set up at EOC with really everybody at this table whenever we have these events, and there's planning, there's plenty of thought going into this. And between everyone sitting at this table, we have enough assets, equipment, and bodies to where we put it in play to where it is needed most at that time Florence was its own special animal for anybody who was here, because we all know it cut our county into basically 3 islands. So we learned a lot. Every single storm, we learn a lot, and it teaches us how to put our assets into play and where to stage our manpower and to stage our equipment. Being like in this area down here, everything around Tranquility and all the neighborhoods all back through there, had 911 work with us and pull up our call volume as to what puts us there the most anyway. And fortunately for everybody in this room, the thing that puts the sheriff's office in your community the most is us doing special checks requested by residents that are in here or live in here as your neighbors. So with that, we do take a proactive approach to law enforcement versus a reactive approach. So we're going to be in these areas. We know that there's going to be a special need with that bridge being shut down and it being limited access coming in there. So at our office, with myself and Captain Seiler and everybody above in our command staff, we will take that reactive approach to continue those special checks in there, continue our presence in there, and hopefully can help you any way that we can.
Excellent.
I do want to mention one thing. So I'm kind of like the new kid on the block, living down at the coast. I've been here since July, but one thing I do know is, given the fact that we will have the bridge inaccessible, so we won't be able to cross the Calabash River, it's going to take it's going to be extremely important to pay heed to the warnings, because one thing about a hurricane, it doesn't sneak up on you. You see it coming. So I think that we all have to take responsibility to stay weather aware, stay abreast of what's occurring, and do the right thing, especially now considering, as you've mentioned, one of the exit routes will not be available. So you as citizens can help us with that by heeding the warnings should that type of an event occur.
Excellent. And last week at the Brunswick County annual hurricane meeting, the National Weather Service did the program, and the number one thing the head meteorologist spoke about was, do not pay attention to the category of storm, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pay attention to the storm surge. And he had documentation from prior tropical storms that wreaked havoc, and they weren't even a Cat 1 or a Cat 2. So really focus on what the and as the town of Sunset Beach, town of Calabash, we're going to be issuing those warnings and things. But storm surge is going to be the priority, especially in the situation we're here tonight for, storm surge. All right. Anyone else? Anyone in the back? All right. We'll call this meeting. Yes, ma'am. Go right ahead. Go right ahead.
She's got to go to the mic.
Oh yes, you do. You do have to go to the mat. I'm sorry for YouTube people at home. I'm so sorry.
I'm Beverly Golden, and I live in Devon Park. And one of my questions is, with the cut through at Sea Trail, if there is a storm, are the people that live on that side next to the bridge up to the curve there, are they going to be allowed to maybe evacuate through Sea Trail and the other people go out the other direction and go out where the food line is at the red light? I mean, or is it going to be set aside where certain people go a certain route and the rest of us go a different route?
There won't be specific routes based on where you live. If you choose to go the DOT detour to Seaside Road, that's your option. If you choose to take Clubhouse Road, that would be your option too.
Going through Sea Trail, I'm fairly new down here. I haven't been here but 3 years. I get lost if I go through Sea Trail. Are they going to be signs like detour signs or something in the areas to show us where to go and where to turn to get out on the main road?
No, ma'am. The state detour route is going to be Seaside Road, so there will not be detour signs through.
So we'll be flying by the seat of our pants then. That's what it sounds like.
In the event of an evacuation, there'll be law enforcement personnel in the area helping people that may choose to go that route.
Okay.
Probably not.
And let's see if there's anything else I want to ask. I think you got it all.
Excellent. Excellent.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Carol Bates. I live at 708 Oyster Bay Drive in Sunset Beach. And thank you all for coming and making this presentation. But what is our best tool or best method to keep abreast of any road closures, not detours, but for example, in an emergency situation? I do get Lisa's emails. Thank you very much. And is there any other way we should be listening for communications? Thank you.
I can speak for the sheriff's office. I don't know if you have the Brunswick County Sheriff's Office app for your mobile phone.
I do.
All
Thank
right,
you. So
if,
you'll push.
Yeah, so basically what that'll happen, for anything occurring in the county, if anything gets relayed to us by, local agencies, our PIO takes and immediately pushes that out to that app. That information filters from basically what we're receiving from community calls or our patrol units out taking pictures, sending them to us, we're sending them to them, and she's pushing all that out. But I would highly suggest to anyone in here, if you don't have the Sheriff's Office app, it'll push those updates, be it road closures that occur through this incident here, through a storm. If there's we had construction on Highway 17 up around Bolivia last week, and it backed traffic up all the way past Randolphville, the dump area up there where our landfill is, and we pushed that out. So it's just to let you know and keep you abreast of what's happening in the county.
Okay, thank you. So Sunset Beach will continue with the emails and the county with the app.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And Highway Patrol as well has a website called Drive NC. And there's also the Tim's website that Highway Patrol push stuff out to there. They'll even say if one lane's closed, shoulders closed, if there's an accident, if they're out with something.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And if all of those fail, you can go to the Town of Sunset Beach website. And if that doesn't work, you can go to the Town of Sunset Beach Facebook page.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. There are 3 Facebook pages, correct?
I'm Marty Cook. I'm a county commissioner here in Brunswick County, and I want to thank you all for coming. And the thing is, I want to applaud your efforts, because the thing that most people don't know is these people work all the time on this effort. We do have road closures throughout this county. They're done by the North Carolina Department of Transportation with a contractor, so it's not something that we do. We don't pull the trigger on the timing, nor do we do that, but we are constantly evaluating the aspect of how we move it. Just as these 2 gentlemen just stated, and this gentleman right here stated, we are constantly looking at it in a matrix. Today I was in a conference call with 65 partners across the state of North Carolina regarding interoperability. That means that we're scalable. We deal everything from Marine patrols to law enforcement, to State Highway Patrol, to local municipalities. We communicate all the time regarding hurricanes. The thing you must understand, though, however, is this. If we tell you to get out, leave. Do not sit there and say, oh, yeah, I think so, because I can tell you, and these people will tell you this, we model it. We know what the impact's going to be. We know what the weather is. We have a close association with the chief meteorologist, both in the Wilmington area and in the Raleigh area. And so the point being is they don't play games, and we don't play games. So if we tell you to leave, leave. There's a lot of platforms out there. They're the websites that were just addressed. They are all good. The state has websites also. Then they're good too. But what if they don't work? If you haven't subscribed to Code Red, which I would assume you have for Sunset Beach, we certainly do for the county, they will go off and they will alert you to the fact that you have an issue. There's also information that comes down through your phone if you've got a weather alert. So all these components coming together are collaborative and they're comprehensive. So it isn't like we just kind of like, well, we might get a hurricane. We plan all the time. And I will tell you a couple of things too. We've been evaluated by the United States Army as far as how we handle emergencies. And they said it was beyond belief what we did because we were able to do that. The second thing is some of these people sitting here will know this. We've been evaluated by the state of North Carolina, and they said they've never seen anybody handle emergencies the way we do. We work very comprehensively. We work as a big family. We don't care where you're from. We don't care who your daddy was. We don't care how much money you have. We're here to take care of you. That's job one, is public safety. So that being said, you have all these different components here, but they work as one great big collaborative perspective on your behalf. So I would just want to say thank you for having this, because a lot of people wouldn't care. They just close the road. But I can assure you this, my mother is 96 years old and lives down where some of you folks do. If you know where Bonaparte's Retreat is, where you turn, that's where she lives. And if I was terribly concerned, I would be sitting here and I'd be worried too. But you know what? I know that they have our back. I know they know how to do it. And we do move our assets around. We will take you to the closest hospital, or we will assess you wherever it is. We will treat you and we will deal with you right there on the scene and en route to the hospital. We have a response that is similar to what you will find. Well, I was a basic paramedic in Charleston years ago, and we had the same response level there as we have here. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for having this. Thank you for all your work. And anyway, we'll get through this. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Commissioner Cook. Thank you.
I'm on Landing Drive, Bob Ferrer in Calabash. I'm just wondering, Beach Road, is that at a lower elevation than the bridge? I've seen the bridge closed where there was water on the bridge, but Beach Road always seems to be open. So that must be a higher elevation? Doesn't seem like it would be.
I can just tell you from experience and time being down here, I've been through a lot of storms, and it could all change tomorrow. Please understand that.
Yeah.
Every storm is different depending on the direction it comes. If we got a rising tide on a southwest wind, if you know how the ocean works and the tide works, it really depends the direction of the wind, the movement of the tide. That's how we gauge a lot of what's going on for us. If it's pushing in Little River Inlet and it's pushing in the Calabash River, it's going to push, and it ends right up there by Carlisle. That's where it ends.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to push over top of that bridge because it has nowhere to go. Through my experience, we have been able to get into all those areas down shoreline, past the observation deck for the alligators and all that. We can get in there when that bridge has several feet of water on it.
Oh, I'm just wondering if we're going to be on an island. If there's
Like I said, there's only one person who can answer that question. It's definitely not Jeff, I can promise. But from my experience of being here, I have never seen, and I'm jinxing everybody in this room.
Yeah.
I have never seen that road go underwater. I'm going to go ahead and say it. You beat around it enough.
Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt.
I will say that the bridge is located in the highest flood zone. It's
Okay.
in that surge zone. It's like I can't remember if it's UX or AX, but it's going to be the first thing to flood.
That river dead ends right there. I mean, that's where it stops.
Anyone else?
A lot of websites were cited and for concerned citizens to look at, and I'm wondering if I belong to the Sunset Beach website net, but is there a way that you could recap those for the citizens and they were all pretty boom, boom, boom out. I couldn't run that fast. So if you could do us a concern of anybody that could relieve our concerns and put as many things as you can, that would really help us.
We've got meeting notes from tonight. I'll review that, and anything website related. I think Mr. Ross spoke about TIMS and things like that, DOT.
Yeah, it'd be great if you could do that for us.
I'll see how I can do that and
Thank
make
you.
it happen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent. Any other questions? Anyone else from back here like to say anything? All right, we'll go ahead and adjourn. Thanks everyone for coming. We appreciate it. Thank you.